Hello and welcome. Today, we'll be talking about how the DS2488 makes communication between a set of true wireless earbuds and their charging box easy and simple. But first, the basics. Most true wireless stereo Bluetooth earbuds come with a charging box. That charging box actually serves two functions. First, it provides a safe place to keep the earbuds when they're not in use. But second, the charging box contains a battery that can charge the earbuds when they're in storage. Since the earbuds have a pretty firm size constraint, after all, they aren't making the human ear any bigger, minimizing the area used for charger contacts is critical. And if you can communicate over that same set of contacts for information transfer and servicing, well, so much the better. In a true wireless stereo system, there is interaction between the earbuds themselves, the charging box, and a smartphone. Now, the connection between the earbuds and the charging box is typically mechanical, ideally consisting of just two physical contacts that are engaged when the buds are loaded into the box. The connection between the earbuds and the smartphone is mediated by a Bluetooth radio, but very frequently the charging box itself doesn't have a Bluetooth radio. Well, that means the earbuds may have to mediate communication between the smartphone and the charging box. Other constraints include size. Any ICs designed into the earbuds have to be in a tiny package or else they just won't fit. And because the retail price of true wireless earbuds is already pretty low, any ICs designed into the product need to be priced low to be competitive. So, given those constraints, what kind of functionality do we need to include? Beyond playing music. Well, first, the smartphone will want to know the charge level of the charging box and whether the earbuds are in or out of the charging box. Since the charging box doesn't have a Bluetooth radio, those messages have to be relayed through the earbuds to the smartphone. And what if the earbuds are placed in the charging box with completely depleted batteries? That doesn't change the fact that the charging box needs to detect when the earbuds are placed in the box. Otherwise, how would it know when to turn on the charging current? And what about the charging box battery itself? Usually, there's a large lithium-ion battery in the charging box to charge the smaller lithium-ion batteries in the earbuds, hopefully several times on a single charge. But if the charge box battery is exhausted, the earbuds have to pass that information on to the smartphone. Very often, the earbuds bear an electronic serial number, both to ensure device authenticity, but also to tell the right earbud from the left. And one more thing, what about pairing? In many applications, it's critical for Bluetooth pairing to commence just as soon as the charger box lid is open, if the earbuds are unpaired. And that's just the user experience. What about manufacturing? Loading firmware into the charging box and the earbuds is often done through a USB connection in the charging box. The charging box then transfers the updated firmware to the earbuds. But in the field, firmware updates may be delivered to the earbuds first over the Bluetooth connection and then transferred back to the charging box. That means a relatively high-speed connection between the earbuds and the charging box would really be a good idea. Okay, all these requirements can sure make your head spin. How can we do all this in a tiny, inexpensive package? Well, here's the good news. The DS2488 one-wire dual-port link is a two-contact interface technology that solves both power and data transfer between earbuds and the associated charging box. Here's how it works. The DS2488 goes in each earbud and uses a single pair of contacts to convey both one-wire communication for information exchange and charging power. The DS2488 has two one-wire links called IOA and IOB. The IOA link looks back toward the charging box and can harvest power directly from the one-wire link. That lets the DS2488 function even if the battery in the earbud is completely exhausted. The IOB link looks toward the SoC in the earbud, and it passes information to the Bluetooth SoC as required. Now, notice that IOA and IOB aren't simultaneously used. Instead, the DS2488 maintains a token that indicates which interface is active at any given instant. We'll come back to the interface token in just a few minutes. The DS2488 provides value in every state of a true wireless stereo system. First, let's talk about when the earbuds are actually in the charging box. Now, the charging box can detect that the earbuds are inserted even when the earbuds have no power. The DS2488's IOA one-wire link sends its 64-bit unique ROM ID in response to a presence pulse from the microcontroller in the charging box. Now, once detected, the DS2488 can interleave one-wire communications and charger power just by detecting the voltage on IOA. If IOA is above about 4 volts, the DS2488 enables a pass transistor that engages the battery charger. But when the voltage on IOA is less than about 4 volts, then charge power is disabled, and the charging box can send and receive messages at the lower one-wire voltage levels. By multiplexing both communications and charging on the same set of contacts, commands like report box and earbud battery levels, or status messages like lid not closed properly, can be passed on to the earbuds and from there onto the smartphone. And the earbuds can also detect if the battery in the charging box is exhausted and needs to be recharged. When the earbuds are taken out of the box, the DS2488 can perform an impedance check to verify that the charging box is no longer connected. Then, Bluetooth operation can begin, whether first-time pairing or just session establishment. The earbuds perform the impedance verification by enabling and disabling weak pull-ups and pull-downs while checking logic states. Now, one wire is great for short commands and status messages, but you might not want to transfer several megabytes of firmware update over it, and that's why we included Uart pass-through mode between the earbuds and the associated charging box. Pass-through mode allows bidirectional, half-duplex Uart communication between the IOA and IOB links. During manufacturing, firmware can be loaded into the earbuds by passing data from the charging box's microcontroller via a Uart connection. And once deployed in the field, firmware can go the other way. An update transmitted to one of the earbuds can be transferred to the charging box from the earbud's microcontroller, once again via a Uart connection. Now, there's a lot going on in here, and to help you understand how all this works, Maxim has developed an evaluation kit to demonstrate the operation of the device. On the left is the hardware that simulates the charging box, and on the right is the hardware that simulates a pair of true wireless earbuds. Here are the two DS2488 devices. When the two boards are connected together, the buds are said to be in the case. Okay, now let's be clear about one thing. There's no microcontroller on either one of these boards. There's no Bluetooth radio, no audio path. All we're demonstrating here is the communication between buds and case and charging power management. So, if you're building true wireless stereo earbuds, then you're going to have to figure out the wireless and the stereo parts for yourself. But we can sure help with the charging and communications bits. So let's fire up the software and we'll see what happens. Now, the first screen doesn't look like too much, but it's just here to get us started. When you plug in the USB connections to your computer, Windows automatically assigns COM port numbers to them, and this screen automatically detects which COM port numbers have been assigned to each of the boards. Once the numbers have been detected, you can click on Connect, and in just a moment, you'll see the main EVKit screen. Now, notice the graphic in the center of the screen. It shows the earbuds in the charging box. Now, that means the EVKit has sensed that the charging box board is connected to the earbud emulator board. When we click on Detect Earbuds, we see that the status dialog indicates that we've detected two earbuds. But more than that, we can see the unique 64-bit ROM ID for each one of the earbuds. Okay, great. That means the system is working. So, from the system's point of view, there's a charging box out there with two earbuds in it. Well, maybe we ought to charge them up. Let's click on the Enable Earbud Charging checkbox, and you'll see a green LED turn on, and that indicates that charging has been enabled. Now, Remember, charging and communication occur on a time-multiplexed basis. To communicate from the charging box to the earbuds over the IOA one-wire connection, we have to temporarily turn off charging. And also remember that the IOA and IOB connections aren't engaged at the same time. They're only active when they possess a token. So how can messages from the microcontroller in the charging box be transferred to the microcontroller in the earbuds? Well, it turns out it's pretty easy. Each DS2488 contains an 8-byte buffer for sending small messages like charge status. We can demonstrate this by putting a couple of bytes, in this demo we're going to use 11 and 98 hex, into the buffer. Then when we click Write Buffer, the bytes are transferred from the charging box side of the application via USB across the IOA one-wire interface to the DS2488 in the left earbud. Okay, so now those 2 bytes are in the earbud's buffer. Now, in the real world, those 2 bytes might be a real message. The 11 hex might be a tag that means, here's my charge level. And the 98 hex might be the data value, 98%. To relay that data, the local SoC in the earbud would need to read the data out of the buffer and transmit it to the smartphone. To read the data out of the buffer, we have to pass the token to the IOB side. After all, it's IOB that communicates with the local microcontroller, if there were one. Well, one way to pass the token to IOB is to activate charging. After all, when the battery is charging, IOA has to be idle. Okay, now with IOB active, we can click on Read Buffer, and we see that the data we put into the buffer, 11 and 98 hex, appear in the dialog. Now that the battery level for the charging box is known and looks okay, let's emulate the earbuds being taken out of the charging box. First, I'm going to uncheck the Enable Earbud Charging box. This turns off the charging power on IOA and lets it go back into communication mode. Clearing that checkbox also lets the GUI know that it can actively verify the placement of the earbuds once again. Now I'm going to physically unplug the charging box board and the earbuds board, and you can see that the GUI image correctly shows the separation. Plug them back together, and the earbuds are back in the box where they belong. Okay, now one more thing. Remember, we would really like to be able to update the firmware in the charging box, even though the charging box has no radio. To demonstrate this, let's enter some text in the Uart pass-through mode panel over on the earbud side of the GUI. Now, when you click on Send Message, several things happen. First, the application puts the DS2488 into Uart pass-through mode. The single data connection is no longer following the one-wire protocol, but is carrying half-duplex, high-speed serial data. The data is transmitted from the earbud side and is received in the charging box side. That data could be a firmware update or any other data set that's too long for the relatively slower one-wire protocol to handle. And as soon as the message is complete, one-wire mode is immediately re-enabled. Okay, we've only scratched the surface of what the DS2488 can do, but you can learn more just by visiting this website. There, you're going to find the datasheet for the part and a link to the evaluation kit. Also, on the evaluation kit site, you're going to find links to the EVKit software and some C language demos if you're ready to explore programming the device yourself. And of course, Maxim support is always there if you need it. Thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for more innovative products from Maxim Integrated.